Love lives here. When the world gets you down and you're feeling lonely, when you can't find your truth or find your center, there are many here who gather together. Oh, unconditionally, we love each other, and the scars that we see just make us stronger. We breathe it in together. We'll hold you up with grace. We know that love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. When life gets you down, you can't see the future. When it all seems too much for you to handle, there are many here who gather together. Oh, unconditionally, we pray together, and the hurt that you feel will be set free. We breathe it in together. We'll hold you up with grace. We know that love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. Love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. Love lives here.
Hi, good morning, Riverside. This is Reverend Jeffrey Ryan coming to you live from my living room. Welcome to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, where love lives here. It is a joyful and joyous morning this morning, and I am so glad that you are joining us. Good morning, Tomorrow and Chester. Good morning, Douglas, Ray. Good morning, Shawnee. Hi, Patty. You're in. You are in. We can see you. You are in the feed. Yes, welcome. It's great to see you. So wonderful to have you with all of us this morning. It is so awesome to see you today. And we are trusting and knowing that this morning unfolds perfectly in divine right order and divine right action. And I am so excited this morning to continue our conversations. And this week we are having a conversation with Claytee White, a practitioner at Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas, and the inaugural founder of the Oral History Project at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. She is an oral historian, and she is wonderful and such a delight, and I cannot wait to share her with all of you this morning. So before we get into anything else, we want to take a moment here and just breathe together as we remember and we honor the lives and the service of Representative John Lewis and Reverend C.T. Vivian. Both of them have spent their entire lives, their entire adult lives, working for justice and equity. And we lost both of them on Friday. Representative John Lewis passed away from cancer, and Reverend C.T. Vivian passed away from being 95 years old. And we honor them. We recognize that they rest in love, they rest in power, and they rest in freedom. And that is what we are celebrating here this day. is freedom. And that's what we celebrate every week. We celebrate love and we celebrate freedom because that is who we are. So thank you for joining us this morning. It is wonderful to see you all. Hello, Earl. Hello, Mom. Hello, Lupe. Hello, John. Great to see all of you. So let's come together in song, shall we? Here we go with Jubel.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see everybody. I loved seeing that video. This is one big family. You guys are my family, so please sing along. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we need to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's do it one more time. I know you know it. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. One people living in one planet, joining in one family. We all are one. One people living in one planet, joining in one family. We all are one. One people living in one planet, joining in one family. We all are one. One people living in one planet, joining in one family. We all are one.
Good morning. I'm Allison Barry, one of the licensed spiritual practitioners here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. So happy to see you. So let's join together in prayer this morning. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. That is, if you're comfortable, and just center in and center down. Feeling and sensing that we are in a very safe space, surrounded and anchored in unconditional love. And knowing at a deep and profound level our oneness, our unity. For the enduring truth that I do absolutely know is the oneness of all life. That indeed there is only one presence and one power, one infinite intelligence that lives, moves, and has its being in all, as all, and through all. And this unified field of divine energy, this God presence, is everywhere present. It is ever available. It is unconditional love. It is perfect peace, that peace that passes all human understanding. It is truth, beauty, limitless, boundless energy of light and of harmony and of divine order. For God is boundless, limitless. It is indeed the stuff and the substance of which we are fashioned and formed. And this eternal presence is always within us. It is the kingdom within. So this morning, I absolutely know and bless each and every person within the sound of my voice. And I know that we are absolutely aware of who and what we truly are, divine expressions of the Most High God. And as we come together, I do know that everything that unfolds in this gathering is in perfect and right and divine order. That every prayer, the words spoken, the divine conversation, the music, all of it is God expressing through and as each and every one of us. And all of us are keenly aware of our divine inheritance and open and receptive to the truth that is spoken this morning, knowing that we indeed are liberated and free beyond measure. For that is the nature of pure spirit, and it's who and what we are. So I know all is well, and I let it be so, and together we say, and so it is.
This is We Are the Ones by Karen Drucker. I hope you enjoy it. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are. I've been feeling like I can't make a difference. Been feeling like there ain't no use. Feeling tired and a little unconscious. Coming up with every excuse. Till I realize it's not all up to me. When we're joined together and shape our destiny. To see the world where we're living as one. It can be, it shall be, it will be done. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones, we are the ones. We are the ones, we are the ones. I realize it's not all up to me. When we join together, we shape our destiny. To see the world when we are living as one. It can be, it shall be, it will be done. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones, we are. We are the ones, we are. I am the one that can make a difference. I am the one that we are waiting for. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones, we are. We are the ones, we are. We are the ones, we are. We are.
Thank you, Jabel. Thank you, Allison. So this year here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we are working with the theme of 2020 Spiritual Vision, and the theme for the month of July is Unchained Spirituality. And before we get into discussing all of that and welcoming our guest, let's do our focus statement together, shall we? So I want you once again to continue to feel the magnitude of this statement. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to participate in a summit held by Tracy Brown on her Stained Glass Spirit Facebook page. And we were talking about what it means to be an inclusive community, what radical inclusion means, what equity means. And I shared with her our statement, our focus statement. And she was so excited when she heard our focus statement that she asked me to repeat it again. And then we had a little bit of a discussion around that too. So you can go back and you can watch that. That is on Stained Glass Spirit on Facebook, the Facebook group, but you can go back and watch that video there. But she really liked the power of our statement and what it is that we say and what it is that we affirm in this. So let's do this together, shall we? We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. And it was that transformative power of love that got her so excited, and that we use that it is about transformation, it is about emboldening people and transforming lives, emboldening lives so that people can live their highest potential. And it's both an internal statement. This is what we do together here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. But it is also the way we live our teaching out into the world and living a higher vision, or living the highest vision of Centers for Spiritual Living, which is creating a world that works for everyone and all of creation. So I love that we have this statement. I love that we remind ourselves weekly of what this statement means and how we move it out into the world. And so we're going to, once again, as we do every week with that statement, we weave it through as always part of the message somehow, that we've touched back onto it. And today, the message title is "The Truth Shall Set You Free," or "The Truth Will Set You Free." The truth will set you free. So today, I am delighted to share with you, to invite to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, Claytee White. Claytee is the inaugural director of the Oral History Research Center at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. In this position, she collects the history of Las Vegas and the surrounding area by gathering memories of events and experiences of longtime residents. Two of the many significant projects that she has led include the Las Vegas African American Experience and the Jewish Heritage Initiative of Southern Nevada. She has written several book chapters, journal articles, and presented oral history papers at national conferences from Atlanta to Maui. So please welcome with me the wonderful, the fantastic, the most beautiful, poised practitioner I know, Claytee White. Welcome, Claytee.
Welcome. Thank you so much. What a
Hi. It's so good to see you.
It's wonderful to be here.
I'm so excited that we have this opportunity to be together today, Claytee. So do you want to say a little bit about you beyond what I just shared to start us off, or?
No, I'm not going to say anything else except how wonderful it is to be here. I just feel good about this. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It is our pleasure and my honor to have you with us. So this morning we are talking about the truth will set you free, right? And this comes from John 8. It comes from John 8:31, 32, where he is addressing, where the master teacher is addressing Pharisees and Sadducees and gathering of Jewish folks who are listening to his message, and they have been challenging him. And he says, you know, the truth shall set you free. And so I know that you have studied long with Reverend Colleen and Goldsmith and the Bible as well. And so I would like to hear your take on what this means to you, what that phrase means to you. The truth will set you free. From the spiritual, let's go from the spiritual perspective first, shall we?
Yes. So to me, I didn't even know what that meant. Growing up in the Baptist church, I had no idea. I would hear it all the time and hear it in the community. I grew up in an all-Black community. So the truth shall set you free. And at that time, I wasn't really free on a human level and didn't know exactly what it meant. But now I use the word as a way of learning what the truth is, number one, and embodying that truth within me, therefore allowing it to flow out as truth. So that's the way I live now. It wasn't until I started understanding what truth really is, how we get to it, how we can take that word, God is this kingdom within me. Take those words of those elegant words that teach us how to live, that God is all there is, but embodying those in our consciousness. So I embody it in my consciousness now. I didn't even know how to do that until I started practicing in a way that became real. It wasn't just, oh, I'm reading the Science of Mind magazine and I'm reading this now. It wasn't until I learned how to allow those words, those truths, those wisdoms to become a part of me, to actually embody. I didn't even know what embodying was, but to embody that into my consciousness and to use it every day and to allow it to flow out, that now these truths can lead to more and more faith, can lead to freedom, can lead to this inner joy. So that's the way I live my life, Reverend Jeff. I just revel in this truth now.
And so what practices brought you to that greater understanding?
So to me, learning to pray. Treatments, yes, but just learning what those steps really mean. And learning to pray in a way that it became a reality. Those words that I'm saying over and over, those words began to become my reality, allowing me now to not just bring it into the kingdom within me, but to allow it to flow out. So the practice that I love and enjoy more than anything else, going to classes with like-minded people. I didn't know the value of that. Sometimes I would take a class at a spiritual center, and yes, the classes meant a whole lot. But it wasn't until I learned the value of being in community humanly, and then to learn to commune with the power within. That's what made a difference. And it comes from my classwork. Of course, I do things like meditation and all of that. And I try to do different kinds of things at my desk every day at work. Because if I try to do the same thing all the time, I set an alarm so that I can commune with the spirit. But now I also have, Colleen did this wonderful thing for us. We have this list of wisdoms from our book, Practicing the Presence.
Uh-huh.
So now I keep that list of wisdoms on my desk, and I'll look over every once in a while, and I'll select the wisdom to concentrate on. So I do different kinds of things to keep this alive and fresh within me. So that's what
Beautiful.
I'm practicing on.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's, the truth that sets us free, right, is the truth that there is only one, right? There's only one power, one presence, one infinite eternal that is right where we are. It is the very center of our being. It is the I am that I am, that is the very core essence of who we are. And it's not just the essence of who we are, it's the totality of who we are. And the master teacher invited us and basically boiled everything down to the two great commandments of love God first and then love your neighbor as yourself, right? So that second part is loving your neighbor as yourself is a twofold part. First, you have to love yourself, because if you're not loving yourself, how can you love somebody else, right? As RuPaul puts it a little bit more flamboyantly than that, but it's part of it is how can you love somebody else if you don't love yourself? And what I hear you saying and I hear you sharing is that it's really, it all does boil back down to that one truth, that God is all there is, and to love God with all your heart, all your mind, all your being. And I loved how you mentioned being in community, not only in community or communion with our brothers and sisters and siblings on this planet, but also, more importantly, perhaps being in communion with the one life that lives, moves, breathes, and has its being in, through, and as each one of us, and us in and as it. So from that perspective of loving our neighbors as ourselves, and that, so how then do you, in your work there at UNLV, as an oral historian, bring your practitionerhood to it and bring this high idea of that there is only one to the work that you're doing as an oral historian? So yeah, if you'd share some of that.
So I will. And first, you talked about loving yourself.
Uh-huh.
So yes, I am one with the Almighty. I also love myself on that human level. I start right there. I want to be treated in a certain way, therefore I treat others in a certain way. Now I know that is the Spirit, the Almighty pouring through me. I understand that. But I love what that pouring through me has allowed me to become. So on this human level here at UNLV, what I do for a living, I listen. And listening, learning to listen with all my being, to do oral history and to do it well, brings in my spiritual practices every day. So in order to listen to someone, to listen through their stories and their memories and their histories and what they've done here in Las Vegas and how they've improved this city, we want all of those stories. We preserve them here at the library at UNLV. But to listen to those stories with all my being, that's my goal. I don't want to just listen with that deep listening. I want to do more than that. I want to listen with all my being, because those follow-up questions I ask, I want them to be to draw out as much of that person as possible. Spiritual, mental, emotional, and yes, historical as well. I want to draw all of that out. So Jeff, not only has it allowed me to just do that kind of work, but because of the way I've listened and now allowed that to pour out of me by giving public presentations all over the city, it also means that people can share what I've learned. So the more I learn it, the better I learn it. So when I say I listen with all my being, because now I pour that out onto your organization. If you invite me to be a speaker, not just during Black History Month, but every month of the year, I retell those stories of Las Vegas history. Yes, we read books and all of that also, but I bring that human element into those stories in a new way because of the way I listen to these stories. So it gives, and now I have to learn to say no. Colleen tells me not to say no, say yes within the yes. So I have all of these projects on my desk because I love what I do so much. And it comes from loving my neighbor. The neighbors right here in Las Vegas, neighbors any place now with this wonderful technology we have, neighbors all over the world. I love them and I want to give them this wonderful, rich history that we have acquired here in the city of Las Vegas. So I do that. And I must add something else. So not only do I do that, but we have this rich history at the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas, as you probably do as well, of visioning. Well, through this pandemic that we're going through, we find that there is a lot of unease on our campus. And I have, with the help of Reverend Colleen again, I have been able to take our visioning practices and I've used it here with people who work with our students, visioning with them to bring out the best and the highest idea for our students, for our campus. Reverend Jeff, it is just amazing what the spirit flowing through my being has unfolded for me right here during oral history and what it has become. It's just amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I love, as you know, I'm the chair now of the Centers for Spiritual Living Visioning team.
Yes.
So I love hearing that you are using that spiritual practice. And actually, it's a way of life. It's become a way of life, but using that with your students in a secular environment, because it is a way that we can bring our teaching and our ideas and our practices out into the tangible world, if you will, to share and help elevate the consciousness around us that brings a balm or brings a salve to these uncertain times, and looking and finding, not even looking and finding, but as you mentioned, listening.
Yes.
Listening with our whole being.
Yes.
That's really, it's called visioning, but it's really a deep listening. It is a communing with our whole being.
Yes.
And being open and available for spirit to speak.
Yes.
For spirit to make itself known in ways that are available to each and every one of us.
So when I do the visioning on campus, I don't use the word God. I have to be really careful. I use things like the invisible, and I use other terminology that is more in the vernacular that's accepted everywhere. But everybody knows exactly what I mean. So, yes.
Yeah, frequently when I'm doing it in secular situations, I invite people to open up to their intuition, right?
Yes,
And
I use it as well.
To their intuition, and what's the highest idea here? Not what is God's highest idea or Spirit's highest idea. So what's the highest idea here? And we'll just listen and see, if we gather any information. So, So what is so fascinating, we were on a conversation the other night, a couple Wednesdays ago, the first Wednesday there in Las Vegas. They're at Greater Las Vegas. You and Sheila, who was with us a couple weeks ago, and Reverend Colleen, are hosting healing conversations for our time. And something you mentioned in the conversation after the Wednesday service there, you talked about, it's so important. Let me back up. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. That what we're seeing now is we're seeing so many things coming to light. Right? That a lot of what we learned as history that we thought was history is becoming very clear that that was not the whole picture. And that's becoming clearer to larger groups or to more and more people in our society. And there was something that you mentioned that evening that I just thought was so powerful. And I would invite you to follow this up with, talking about how you're using truth how we're using truth now to set us free in the larger community. And that was that you no longer teach Black history.
Uh-huh.
Because Black history is American history. And so what you teach is American history. And when you said that, like, of course it made sense. And yet it was like, wow. It was just such a powerful statement. And so I invite you to share with our community here more about that and how you're seeing the truth now as it's coming out as a way of liberating all of us in the United States and around the world, actually.
Good. So at one point, I would go out and do presentations on Black history. One of those projects that we did here is we collected over 200 interviews with people in the Black community. We, of course, collect interviews from people all over the city, all different communities, everyone. So those histories, those interviews with the African-American population, the Black population, were just exciting to me. It added so much to me, to my history. But when I would go out to speak to a Rotary Club, or you can probably tell the name of it, that these were audiences of white people. So sometimes they would invite me in during Black History Month, and I would go out to talk about Black history. And as soon as I got up to talk about Black history, the glaze would come over half of the audience.
Yes.
So I said, there has to be a better way for me to tell these stories and to tell them so that they're accepted as a part of our everyday lives. This is a part of what all of us do. So I started calling it American history. And right away, people understood the difference. So I might tell a story about the first person who came to Las Vegas, this little person, 5 years of age, who used to drive back and forth as the Hoover Dam was being constructed because his father started a small hardware store in Boulder City. So I talked about that little boy. And that little boy told me the story of working at the test site later on in his life, where after he finished the military, he was put in a trench to test the radiation from the bombs. So this is the way they use some of our military people. This is a white man telling me this story. So I could easily transition from what he told me then until his Black comrades right in the same trenches with him. And I could tell that story of oneness about Las Vegas. And so I began to tell stories from history, but I began to blend stories so that everybody is accepted as a part of this history. So I tell the story about different people coming here at different times and what they gave to the community. So now I do that more and more because of what is going on, the protests that are going on. So I am able to take what I've learned in all kinds of history classes now, and I can talk about systemic racism, and I can talk about it on a level that everybody understands it, because everybody can talk about education, everybody can talk about healthcare, we can all talk about the banking system, and we can talk about the banking system. And then when I tell them what redlining is, that my communities had a red line drawn around them because the banks wouldn't give a loan in those areas. Now everybody is on board with me because I'm talking about those same subjects that we talk about all the time, allowing me to bring in all of the history into these presentations. So I have gained so much. And Reverend Jeff, I was angry in the beginning when we first started doing these because of George Floyd and other people who have been murdered. I was angry. But then I had to curtail that and allow this, all of this good to flow out of me. Not just the spiritual good that I'm acquiring every day, but all of this history that I have acquired along the way, not even knowing what I was going to do with it. But now I can allow that to flow out of me as well in a more real way, in a more grounded spiritual way. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy because I was so angry at one point. But now I can do it in a new way. So everything in my life is coming together in this new transformative way. So I just love it. I love what I'm doing.
It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. I love that what I'm hearing you saying about having all of this knowledge and learning and history and wisdom and rooting it in spirituality, rooting it into the spiritual truth, mm-hmm. is a way that you are able to then bring truth with a capital T, mm-hmm. and speak that to power and speak that into broader or into greater ways, into more and more places, into more and more venues, and being anchored in truth, centered in truth first, mm-hmm. then allows the historical truths to come forward in an even more powerful way to effect even more change.
That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. And because I'm being invited to a broader array of audiences, I think other people are beginning to see that as well. Sometimes it's difficult to hear some of the traumatic horror stories mm-hmm. from American history. Sometimes it's hard. But if I can start the story, start the discussion, the conversation, by telling some stories that we are all aware of, we're familiar with, and then I can add on to that, because I want to now start talking about reparations. So I have to set this very firm foundation to allow people to understand slavery and Jim Crow and all of that, so that I can set the stage for beginning to talk more and more about truth and reconciliation, reparations, and all of that. So there's a method to this also.
I didn't think there was. Knowing you like I do. You're somebody who I also know to be very intentional, and as am I. So it's I love that, and I love that you are creating this foundation so that we really can begin to have those discussions about truth and reconciliation and reparations, because it's not enough just to educate ourselves or to be educated about our history and the history of violence, the history of racism, the history of the economics, the history of all of the systems that are in place, the way that we've come to be where we are at. It's important to know that history and to understand that history, but that's then the stepping off point. That then becomes, as you said, the foundation, the baseline, to then really begin to take the actions necessary toward equity, and eventually equality. But equity, I think equity, we were talking about it the other day, is that, I look at equity and justice as where we really need to be headed. That equality is everybody gets the same thing. We all get one box and not everybody can still see over the fence. Equity is, the boxes are distributed so that we can all see over the fence. And then justice is the barrier, the fence is removed so that we have an unobstructed view. And so I think this is a great conversation about moving us forward. We have to do this foundational work first, but that's not where it ends. The truth that sets us free moves us beyond even that.
Yes. But Reverend Jeff, let me tell you that we were on Facebook at one point. It's now maybe 6 months ago. I'm not sure. But a question came up about systemic racism. And I gave this tiny answer, a couple of sentences, and then you gave this answer that was like a paragraph long. And let me tell you what I did. I copied that. I actually wrote it out, typed it out, and I began to use it because it was so concise. It was so precise. It was so filled with all of the data that I needed to begin to talk about police brutality and redlining. And you just put it all together in such a wonderful paragraph that I began to use it. And then I sort of memorized it for a while so that I could talk about all those things and talk about it quickly. And so I want to thank you for that, for getting me started. So now, did you see that my light went out a little?
I did. You're going to have to wave your hands now.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay. Yes. So I wanted to thank you. I wanted to let you know how important it is for all of us to be a part of this. That oneness is real. And if we are going to build this world that works for everyone and build it in a way that it can be sustained and successful for the duration, it takes all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As we were talking about last week, none are free until all are free. So it does. It takes absolutely all of us.
Yes.
So I want to thank you, Claytee, for joining us this morning. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your sharing. And thank you for the work that you continue to do in the world. And thank you for, teaching and sharing history and making sure that these stories are preserved and that they're known and that we can all learn and benefit and grow from them together.
So
thank you.
It is my pleasure. It is my great pleasure to do this work.
Thank you. And so, Claytee, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and pray this morning, if you would, please. So I want everyone to just go within. Just close your eyes and just go within to that special place. And this is a prayer about justice, about courage and love. God is love. God is the source that leads me beside the still waters. God is all there is. So I am. All that God is, I am. So I speak my word now. I speak the word of truth, of courage, and of love. And so from the prayer of John Lewis, courage is a reflection of the heart. It is a reflection of something deep within that must resist and must defy an authority that is morally wrong. Courage makes us march on despite fear and doubt. March on to the road toward justice. Courage
is necessary, as necessary as the wings are to a bird. Courage is not just rooted in reason, but courage comes from that divine place of the Almighty. We are the ones here to build a new world. Every beloved city, town, village, and hamlet, our world can become that beloved world. A world not divided, but united. And we are here with the courage, with the faith, and the love. It is our calling to build that world that works for everyone. And we do it because we know the truth, that truth that sets us free. We love ourselves. We love God Almighty. We love that presence. And then we pour it onto our neighbors, and we love our neighbor as ourselves. I am so grateful that the joy of the morning comes not from our will, but as John Lewis says, it's from that call of history, that spirit of history. It sweeps us up and commands us to answer hate and fear with love and courage. God is love. I am so grateful that God is love. I release this prayer of love and freedom and courage into the law, where it is already manifested. And so it is.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. Letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. Letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Thank you, Jabal. And thank you, Claytee. It was wonderful to have you with us this morning. So, beloveds, it is just so beautiful every Monday or Tuesday when we we check and see what's coming in through Breeze and seeing your conscious contributions. It is so powerful to bear witness to the power and the generosity of this community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. It just to continuously see the flow of good that continues to flow, that you continue to share, that you continue to contribute to this beloved community, our community, this community that you and I have created together, that we come together to be in community, as Claytee was so beautifully saying, that we commune with one another and then we commune with spirit with one another. That we commune with spirit, we commune with one another. We do that together in a collective community. And even though we're doing it online now, and we're not seeing each other necessarily live and in person, giving each other hugs at the moment, we do have the opportunity afterward to come together on Zoom and have our discussion, the beyond the message discussion. But we're still coming together as a community. We're still working together as a community. We're still loving together as a community. We're still contributing to the highest good as a community and contributing to being able to do this work out into the world and, you know, touch even more lives, emboldening more people to live their highest potential. So I want to thank you for your conscious contributions. And one of the easiest ways to make your conscious contributions is to go online, or is to, first of all, use your phone or your device and text to give. The easiest way to do that, just type in 951-419-5858. Simply type in the amount and then hit send. And then just like that, it shows up. So that's the easiest way. Another easy way is to go to our website, riversidecsl.org, and up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the word contribute. Click on contribute, and you can easily contribute that way too. So once again, I want to thank you for your generosity. I want to thank you for your conscious contributions. I know that the flow of good continues to flow forth from our community out into the larger community, out into the world. So thank you for your generosity. I really, really appreciate it. We appreciate it. This community appreciates it. So let's sing together. I'm going to invite Jabel back in here. As you are clicking on your phone or clicking on the website, we'll bring Jabel back in and let's sing together for a moment, shall we? Here we go.
All right, here we go. I cannot do all the good that the world needs. What the world needs, all the good that I can do. Again, I cannot do all the good that the world needs. But the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do.
Just a couple of quick announcements here. As you are aware, the state of California, the majority of the state of California, including Riverside County, we have taken a step back from the reopening that has been happening. And so we are back to a little bit more restricted meeting times and spaces and ways that we can gather so that we can help keep each other safe and so that we're not overwhelming our medical systems. So we here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living will continue to remain online for the foreseeable future. And this is the way this is happening. Bella John is currently only gathering outside. They are not gathering inside our building. And any of our other folks that have been using our building, we've let them know that the building is closed. So that is the way things are happening currently. And also, just on Friday, Governor Newsom mentioned that schools within the counties, school districts within the counties that are on the watch list, which also includes Riverside County, will not be able to go back in person. They must go online. And the only way they could go back on in person would be to have 14 consecutive days of meeting the target numbers, which, as we know, unfortunately, numbers are still climbing. So Riverside County will not be meeting those numbers anytime soon. And so we are here in Riverside County, our kids are being kept safe by being kept at home as well. However, school is still going to start. School is still going to be open. It'll be online, and our children still need supplies. So we are partnering with Olive Crest, our community partners who work with the foster care system and the foster youth system. We are partnering with them this year to provide school supplies for our transitional aged youth. This is the group that we have been working with, that we helped supply housing goods for kitchens and bath and bedding last year. This year, we're being asked to help supply school supplies for them, because they're still going to need school supplies as well. Many of them are still in high school, or they have gone on to community college or to college locally here in the Riverside area. And so they need school supplies as well. So if you check your email, if you get the e-news, the Connect e-news, the greater details are in that. So I direct you to find that there, and they will also be up on our website later today for you to be able to look there to see how you can participate. So I do want to make sure that we invite you to come and join us after we finish here live streaming. We're going to hop on over to Zoom, where Claytee and I and the rest of you, we can have a conversation together on Zoom. And so the Zoom link is 249-395-737. That Zoom ID, once again, is 249-395-737. You can also just go to our website, riversidecsl.org, and there is a button right there on the front page that you just click on it, and it'll take you right over to the Zoom link. So I'd like to invite our beloveds back in here. I want to get Allison in there too. There we go. Yay. So I just want to take a moment to thank all of our beloveds this morning. I want to thank Jubel. I want to thank Allison. I want to thank Michelle. I want to thank Ed for all the work that they do behind the scenes. And most importantly, I want to thank Claytee for being here and giving us the gift of your presence with a capital P this day. So thank you so very much for being with us this morning. And we look forward to seeing you over on Zoom in a moment. But before we go, let's repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called freedom. Freedom is in my mind. Freedom is in my body. Freedom is in everything I do. I am it. I share it. And I receive it. Because love lives here. Peace and blessings. See you over there.
Hey, sing along with me, you guys. I know you know this one. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I see you dancing, you guys. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. All right. Have a great Sunday. Thanks, Manuel. Thank you, Matt, for making our Sundays really sound good. Blessings.